Behind us, you'll see some beautiful orange and black flags waving over the Deschutes River, and the old mill here and the amphitheater are parts of what we hope will become the extended campus for OSU-Cascades when we are able to establish a four-year university in this area. So this is a great place for us to have this press conference, and I really want to thank the media. I know press conferences aren't usually something that we do in Corvallis. We do this when we're hiring a new football coach, and that's about it. And we're not hiring a football coach today. But in the scheme of OSU Cascades and where we are in our growth and development today, this is really a significant milestone for us, and happened to have President Ray here in Central Oregon and wanted to take advantage of that to be able to tell you about this milestone. Our time is limited because President Ray has to leave here at about 1:45, so I just want to let you all know that we need to wrap up by then. And after Ed makes his statement, we'd be happy to answer any questions from people. I also just want to thank the representatives of the Old Mill, Bill and Trish Smith, and I see some of the Old Mill team is here. Thank you so much for everything you do. The flags on the bridge, we have banners hanging in the Old Mill that tell people about OSU Cascades, so thanks so much for everything you do to support us. So at this time I'm going to turn it over to Oregon State University President Ed Ray.
Thank you very much, Becky. Good afternoon. It's wonderful to be here with all of you. I will tell you we are experiencing substantial enrollment growth in Corvallis, and I read the Bend Bulletin and about the excitement over here. Every chance I get is a kind of antidote to some of the less than favorable reviews I get from some of the townspeople there. We're in different places. You're at the starting stage. I can't imagine anything more exciting than the journey that we have commenced here at the Cascades campus. And before I go any further, I'm not sure we'd even be here today if it weren't for Becky Johnson and her team and the amazing work that they've done. And I'm going to introduce some terrific people who are willing to be part of the campaign cabinet in a few moments, but they also have been stalwart supporters of higher education here in Bend and Central Oregon, and their continuing commitment through some pretty tough times in recent years has been extraordinary. The success of the next steps of the OSU Cascades is absolutely crucial to the campus's expansion, which is why I'm pleased to share three important and exciting developments in our for Central Oregon. I hope I've left my pin in the car. I hope you're all wearing your for Central Oregon fundraising pins. First, I'm thrilled to announce a major step forward toward the expansion that we're all very excited about. The Tykeson Family Charitable Trust, overseen by Don Tykeson, and his daughter, the CEO of Bend Broadband, Amy Tykeson, has generously committed $1 million to the expansion fund. This marks, absolutely. This marks the first $1 million gift to OSU Cascades. It is the second time the Tykeson Family Charitable Trust has demonstrated their belief in OSU Cascades. Don and Amy also provided $250,000 for a faculty endowment for the Energy Systems Engineering program in 2010. This latest gift will be used towards the purchase, renovation, or building of facilities. And at some point down the road, we'll invite you all to, I'm sure, a very special space on the new campus that will be named in honor of the Tykesons. Oregon State University is extremely fortunate to have passionate community leaders such as Don and Amy Tykeson step up to help us at every turn. Their commitment and leadership is much appreciated. I'd like to invite Don and Amy as well to come forward. I'm sure they want to share some comments with you at this time. So Don and Amy.
Thank you, Ed. It's a pleasure to be here. For us, it was a milestone when we were able to establish the Tykeson Family Trust in the mid-1990s. The focus of the trust is to support education and health care. We could not be more pleased to be able to make a lead gift to help transform OSU-Cascades University to a four-year institution and further elevate the quality and choice of study available in Central Oregon for our students. Amy?
I know that a four-year university has been at the top of the list for Central Oregon for many years. Not only will OSU Cascades make a difference for students, it will support our employers and provide even more appeal to our beautiful region. There's no more important investment than education, and the Tykeson Family Charitable Trust is excited to help make this dream for Central Oregon a reality. Go Beavers!
Yay!
Thank you so much. Don and Amy, thank you so much for those comments. I said that there were three things we wanted to share with you today. The second is that today, and I alluded to it, we are kicking off the second phase of our fundraising efforts toward facilities for the expanded campus. As you know, our philanthropic goal is $4 million, of which the Central Oregon community has already contributed $1.8 million in an extraordinary effort within a couple of months. That initial effort was to demonstrate community support for the OSU Cascades expansion and represents, I think, a job well done. I can tell you that when we talked to the OUS Board of Higher Education about getting their endorsement for four-year programs at the Cascades campus and made our appeal for the capital budget request, which is in the top 10 or 12 projects for the entire state now, and we think has a good chance of funding going forward. The effort that you and others have made through that initial phase of the campaign was critically important in demonstrating that everybody is really behind this and wants to make it happen. Our goal for this next phase, called the For Central Oregon campaign, is to raise the remaining $2.2 million by December 31, 2013. Today, thanks to Don and Amy Tykeson, we are now $1 million closer to that goal. And I'll share with you some inside baseball about campaigns. The point is always to exceed the goal. So the goal is 4, but you know what? If we go well past that, that'd be okay too. And I'm sure we'd find incredibly productive uses for all of the funds that we're able to raise. And then the third point I want to share with you is that we're very pleased to have a campaign cabinet help us with these efforts. These wonderful and talented community members, leaders in fact of the community, have agreed to serve as advisors to Becky as we seek additional philanthropy towards creating the 90,000 square feet of facilities needed for the growing campus. I'd like to introduce them now, and I think a few of them are able to be with us here today. And those of you who've lived in this community, know this community, these are very familiar names. These are people who have been there from day one in the earliest efforts to bring higher education, to bring four-year programs in collaboration with COCC to Central Oregon, and just their continued commitment speaks wonderfully of their love and support for the broader community. Alan and Ann Bruckner. Alan Bruckner is the former mayor for the city of Bend. He and Ann generously supported with an $850,000 gift the purchase of the Graduate and Research Center. And I'm sure that simply would not have happened without that wonderful support. Gary Fish. Gary is president of the Deschutes Brewery. Mike and Sue Hollern. Mike Hollern is CEO and chairman of Brooks Resources. Sue is a longtime advocate for the arts in Central Oregon, great community leaders. Mark and Kathy Kroll. Mark is a principal of Ferguson Wellman Capital Management. Mark has served as president of the OSU Foundation Board, has been a great supporter of higher education more broadly, but certainly here in Cascades. Patty and Greg Moss, I think Patty Moss is one of the first people I met when I came to Bend after becoming president at OSU, and I was told she was someone I needed to get to know and somebody who could give me a sense of what we needed to do to help move higher education to greater heights in this community. And she's just been a tremendous resource to all who've worked for higher education. Patty Moss is the former CEO of Bank of the Cascades and now is serving as vice chair of the board. Orrin and Janie Teeter. Orrin is chair of the OSU-Cascades Board of Advisors, former Bend mayor, and a financial advisor. And Orrin is somebody, again, who I think anyone who comes to this community, they say, all right, well, so who are the people I ought to talk to? Patty's on the list, Orrin's on the list. A lot of the people that I'm mentioning here are among those who are always mentioned as people to get to know if you want to know this community and what its needs and aspirations are. Janie's career was as an outstanding teacher in elementary education. She served as a mentor to many of our region's current educators. Bob and Clella Thomas. Bob Thomas is the former president of Bob Thomas Chevrolet Cadillac Honda. Clella is a longtime community leader and volunteer involved most recently with the Tower Theater, and she's a member of the Allied Arts. Amy Tykeson and John Teller. Amy is CEO of Bend Broadband. John is an OSU alumnus and physician practicing family medicine here in Bend. I think if you'll allow me a personal moment, I'll share with you that our youngest daughter just graduated from OHSU as a doctor, and she's doing a residency now in family medicine, and she wants to work in rural communities. And I told her I was triply proud of her. One, because becoming a doctor is a pretty big deal. Making the equivalent of what I consider the doctor's vow of poverty by going into family medicine speaks well of her character. And wanting to be in rural communities where the need for medical care is so dire is wonderful as well. And John has that same spirit and commitment. The campaign cabinet will be essential as we look to raise the private funds needed to purchase or build classrooms and learning spaces for students. These individuals will help through their personal support and will help broaden the giving base by connecting new supporters to OSU Cascades. These community leaders who will help lead fundraising efforts to expand OSU Cascades will be critically important in our efforts to further connect the campus to the Bend and Central Oregon communities. We're very grateful for what they will help us to achieve together here. Finally, it will take hard work, but Central Oregon has given itself every reason to believe that this momentum will continue over the next 15 months as we complete this next phase of fundraising for the standalone 4-year OSU Cascades campus. And thinking about this moment, I'm reminded of a story about when Benjamin Franklin left at the end of the Continental Congress. He was asked by an onlooker, Mr. Franklin, do we have a monarchy or a republic? And Mr. Franklin responded, a republic, if you can keep it. I'm here to tell you, Central Oregon, Bend, what you have here is a 4-year university, if you can keep it. So let's make it happen. Thank you very much for being here.
Well, I think it's super fitting that the Cycle Pub is behind us now as a symbol of Central Oregon and why students are going to want to come here and go to school. So, I also want to just thank a number of members of the OSU Cascades Advisory Board for being here today for this announcement. Could you all just raise your hand in case somebody wants to chat with you as well? I so appreciate the support we get from the board. And at this time, I'd like to just open it up for any questions that people might have of Ed or I or Amy, Don. Media is not supposed to be shy.
Well, I'll start.
Okay.
What will this mean as far as reaching your goal? I mean, how instrumental will this be toward reaching your goal?
So the question is, what does this really mean for us in terms of reaching our goal? And the level of this gift, as Ed mentioned, this is the largest gift that we've had at OSU Cascades. And when you do a capital campaign, you always have a gift pyramid. You know, you need a few of those really significant major gifts at the top, but you also want the broad support at the bottom. Well, this is our first gift at the top of that pyramid that will hopefully motivate and leverage a number of other gifts. We hope that a number of other people in Central Oregon will see this as an example of leadership and what it can do, and hopefully we'll get some more people on board at that same level.
Yeah, if I could add to that, you know, just in terms of the timing of, just in terms of timing of activities, you know, we were asked to demonstrate community support for a 4-year campus. I immediately went to a city club meeting and told people this is not a time to sit on your hands. We need all hands on deck. We need to demonstrate commitment. This community has done an amazing job with the $1.8 million. The $1 million gift is extraordinary. I think, as Becky said, hopefully that'll serve as an inspiration to others, even though many people are still dealing with tough times, for others to step up and make substantial gifts. But it makes the $4 million suddenly look a lot less daunting. It's not only doable, I think we can do it this calendar year, not just by the end of next calendar year. And it's momentum. We're going into the legislature. We're going to make a case that we need the state to step up, that the community is on board and providing its resources and energy and talent to make this happen. And the more powerful statement we can make along those lines, the more likely we are to persuade legislators who have to make tough choices all the time that this is a good investment. The community is committed. Everybody wants to see this succeed. We need the state to partner with everybody else. And the more compelling the case is we take to the state, as reflected not just in the enthusiasm but the financial support we're able to bring, the more likely it is the state is going to buy into this. And that's the next critical step, is getting state approval of the bonding authority to create the facilities to house the ever-growing population of students at the Cascades campus. So the timing is perfect, and it's just a wonderful, wonderful next step, and we couldn't be prouder or feel more affection for Don and Amy and the family for stepping up and leading the way. I hope that people in Bend and Central Oregon are no longer asking about will we have a 4-year university, but actually asking themselves, how can I pitch in and make this real?
How long have you known about the $1 million donation?
Not too long. I think that's about as precise as I'm going to get.
Can we ask Amy and Don a question? Or
Absolutely.
wait till after?
No,
I just want to know, you can spend your money a lot of different places. You said that's where your focus is on education. Why this?
Well, I think being part of the Central Oregon community for many years with our business and so forth, and we're, I guess, third-generation Oregonian, I don't think there's anything more important to our region than having a 4-year university. It's a wonderful investment. It will make our community even more appealing for people to come here. And I'm really proud that we're able to make this kind of a gift through our foundation. I'd also like to acknowledge my mom, Willie Tykeson, who's a big part of all of this too. And we're really excited about the work Becky's doing. I think she's the leader of the time to make this happen, and it's terrific to see the momentum with President Ray and Becky driving this thing forward.
I would just add that, as we look forward and look back, I can't think of anything that we've done through our foundation that is more important than this gift. And we really look forward to the future of Oregon State Cascade University, and it's growing and becoming an important part of this region. Thank you.
So, where are things at with the process of looking for locations and building sites?
The question is, where are we in the process of finding an actual location for the four-year university? We don't have our $16 million in state bonds yet, and we haven't finished our fundraising, so we're not actually in a position to be negotiating with people on property right now. But I do have a committee of real estate experts here in Central Oregon who are advising me on the real estate aspects of a future campus, and we are going to be developing an analysis of the actual square footage that we need over the next about 12 years out to 2025, and then comparing that to available existing space, because right now it's cheaper to buy and remodel existing space than to build from scratch. So the hope is to find some existing buildings within walking distance of our current building. If possible, if it turns out that that's not available, we'll look for a plan B, but that's where we are in the process. Do the needs analysis, look at what's available right now that might meet the needs. Hopefully by then we'll have the funding all lined up and we can start negotiations with property owners.
Yeah, I would just add, if you have any hot tips, let us know.
Anything else? All right, I just want to say thanks again. The media has really been fantastic since I've been here in Central Oregon. You've been a partner in helping us get to this point. There's no question that people read in the bulletin and they see on TV and they hear on the radio all the time about the progress that we're making. I know it makes a huge difference, so thanks for being our partner in this.
Thank you all very much.